Hey guys, so today I have a Warrior Evo 3 to review. Unfortunately, I don't have a white one. This one's already died for a customer, but if you don't like Maryland, you can just imagine that it's white. So this head is one of the newest heads from Warrior and the latest in the Evo series, which has been going on forever. It's one of the most popular Lacrosse head series. It costs $90. It's legal for high school only, and they do make an X-Spec head, which is legal for high school and college. It weighs in at 5 ounces, which puts it right in the middle of the pack. I think the Evo X is 4.8. The Super Power is 4.7. So it's right in the middle. You won't notice a difference really, and it won't affect anything badly. And I think 5 ounces is the right way. I don't like a head that's too light and it puts it off balance from how heavy the shaft is sometimes if it's too light. But it has a pretty familiar Evo shape, kind of a gradual pinch where it flares out pretty gradually compared to the Surgeon, which has a very aggressive flare, very high in the head, which I think makes it better for attackmen because the ball is going to get held in the bottom of the throat where it's thinner most of the time when you're creating one-handed. So I'd say this head is good for pretty much any position because it's more gradual flare. It'd probably be better suited for a midfielder. But I've also noticed it's very stiff. It's not flimsy or anything like a Proton Power or Super Power is, or clutches are pretty flimsy too. So it'd be alright for a defenseman that throws a lot of checks. As far as stringing the head, the sidewall holes are greatly improved from the previous Evo series. The Evo X, I was very disappointed in the sidewall holes, and it just didn't have enough. And I know with the Evo Pro, the new Evo Pro and the new Evo Pro X6, they added a whole lot more sidewall holes, even more than this, which I'm confused why they went from very few to a lot and then back down to a little bit less, but still enough. You can see there's a gap where there's not a sidewall hole for a good, usually it seems like they're spaced out about a ½ inch apart, and here there's an inch where there's not a sidewall hole, which bothers me a little bit because it's in the top of the head where I like to pull my diamonds down very tightly, and if there's not a hole where I need it to be to pull a diamond tight, it's a little bit annoying. You can work around it with different sidewall patterns, but it does work out pretty well. One thing I liked was the size of the sidewall holes. The first 3 are wide enough to get a couple strings through if you want to string a triangle top string, and then the bottom ones are just small enough you can get a string through, but not big enough that a knot will fall through. One thing I noticed about the clutch is it has huge sidewall holes, which I think makes it a little bit more prone to breaking. You see a lot of clutches break at the sidewall holes down here and break at the holes down here, and it's called the clutch curse because it happens to so many of them. And I think that's partially due to the number and size of the holes, and they're just too big. You don't need a hole that large, especially because the ones down here where you're going to tie your final sidewall off is so big. If you just tie a regular knot, it's going to slip right through, and if that happens in a game, you're going to have a lot of problems. So I was not a big fan of that. That's one thing I really like about this head. It also comes in the dual shot molding process. This was just a white one before I dyed it, but they have this the little Warrior Evo squiggly thing you can get in a different color, and that they think they call it a jewel. This little thing comes in a different color, so kind of like the Clutch 2, how they did multiple color options. They have like their flag series where they do different Irish and Italian flag colors and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. Just to give you a little comparison to the shape of some other heads, here I've got the Evo 3X. So this is obviously the college and high school legal one, and you can see the dual shot molding process, whatever it is right there. And so if you line these heads up, put them on the ground for it, one on top of the another, you can see that the Evo 3 is a little narrower, only down here and up in here a little bit, but honestly not by too much, which doesn't bother me a lot. I think the Evo 3 is just narrow enough. I like my heads to start out a little wider because I find that heads like the Super Power and Proton Power, they pinch in right here and become illegal, and you got to put a field hockey ball on them or something, or a hockey puck to keep them legal. And it's just a pain, but you can see the shape's very similar, just a little wider down here and in here because of the 3-inch rule for college players. I've also got an Evo Light here, which is a lot lighter, weighs 3.9 ounces, as you can see on the tag there, whereas this one's 5 ounces, so that's significantly lighter, and it costs a lot less. You can pick an Evo Light up for $70, if not even less. And I think that these heads are almost so similar that I couldn't justify buying the Evo 3 over the Evo Light for the price. The face shape is literally identical. You can see the pinch, the flare, everything is just about the same on them. Seems like the Evo 3 is a little bit longer, but it's just about the same. The sidewall holes in the Evo Light are a little less, just like the Evo X, but still, for the price, I couldn't really justify picking up an Evo 3, mostly because I don't like to buy brand new heads when they come out and they're $190. I don't think it's worth it. But overall, I think it's a great head and a good improvement on some of the older Evos. And it seems like a good head for a beginner to intermediate player. And I know I've seen a video that Paul Rabel uses one now that he's sponsored by Warrior instead of Maverick, so obviously it can't be too bad. So overall, I really like this head, and be sure to check back on my channel for more stringing, dyeing, and lacrosse head reviews. And as always, you can find us on Facebook. Just search East Coast Dyes, or you can check out www.eastcoastdyes.com.